Okay.
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone.
Good
Okay,
afternoon, Doc.
so today, we are going to discuss about the foundation of executive leadership. Again, executive leadership begins with a clear understanding of what leadership truly means, no, beyond position, title, or authority. At the executive level, no, leadership is fundamentally about responsibility, influence, and long-term impact on people and institutions. Unlike operational leadership, executive leadership requires the ability to see the organizations as an interconnected system rather than uh, a collection of tasks or departments. Leaders at this level are expected to set direction, shape culture, and ensure sustainability. Their decisions often have wide-reaching consequences that extend beyond the organization to stakeholders, communities, and societies. Therefore, understanding the foundation of executive leadership is essential for anyone aspiring to lead at higher levels of responsibility. And these topics allow us to ground ourselves in the principles that guide effective leadership behavior. It also invites us to reflect on leadership as both a discipline and personal practice. As its core, executive leadership is rooted in vision, values, and ethical judgment. Leaders are expected to articulate a compelling vision that align people toward a shared future. However, vision alone is insufficient without credibility, integrity, and consistency in action. Executive leaders must embody the values they promote because people watch what leaders do more than what they say. Trust is built not through policies but through everyday decisions and behaviors. Uh, Foundational leadership also requires self-discipline, no, accountability, and emotional maturity. Leaders must be able to manage pressure, uncertainty, and competing demands without losing clarity or composure. And this foundation separate reactive managers from principled leaders. Another critical foundation of executive leadership is understanding power and influence. Executive leaders wield formal authority, but effective leadership depends on influence rather than command. Influence is earned through competence, fairness, empathy, and strategic communication. Leaders must balance authority with humility and confidence with openness to feedback. They must also recognize that leadership is contextual. What works in one organization or culture may not work in another. Take note of it. Foundational leadership skills are therefore adaptable rather than rigid. As we move through this topic, we examine leadership not as fixed formula, but as a dynamic and evolving responsibility. And this foundation prepare us for more advanced leadership concepts later in the course. With these foundational ideas in mind, we now turn to our presenter who will discuss the core elements, principles, and real-world implication of executive leadership in greater detail. Please pay close attention to how this foundation translates into actual leadership practice, especially in supervisory and executive setting. At this point, I would like to give the floor to our presenter. Go ahead, ma'am.
Um, Good afternoon. Thank you, Doc, for that overview. It seemed like it's already there. You have already discussed about it, but thank you for that, Professor. Maayong hapon sa tanan to our Professor Marmelo Abante. Classmates, good afternoon. As part of the introduction po, let me just say that today I will be reporting on the foundations of leadership. It's part of the, wait a minute. Hand off. Okay. It's part of the executive part ito sa chapter 1. Pinakauna po ako mag-report. So parang privilege ako ngayon. Okay. Let me continue with my presentation. To add, just to enhance the discussion of, just kanina po yung na-open up po ni Professor. Ito po yung, teka, hindi mag-move. Okay. So let me further discuss about the discussion on the importance of foundation leadership. According to Doc Marmelo Abante, and also in his book, he stated a very powerful idea that leadership is not defined by position. Na-mention na po yun kanina ni Doc, but by leadership effectiveness. Accordingly, titles alone do not make someone a leader. Diba? But impact does. So position or title only gives someone formal power, na i-discuss na din ni Doc, parang na-mention na din niya kanina, but it does not guarantee respect, diba? And effective leadership becomes real only when others are influenced. So let's take note of the word influenced, positively and inspired to follow. It's not because it's because they trust, respect, and believe in the leadership direction. So as explained in the book, in appreciation also, that leadership becomes mechanical, focused only on giving instructions or exercising power when it's not the effective leadership, right? So with strong foundations regarding the understanding of a foundational leadership, our performance becomes purposive and ethical oriented and people-centered, and also enabling leaders to create directions, motivate teams, and sustain organizational success. And so it is important for every one of us here, because I believe so we are all leaders, right? Probably in our respective offices, in our organization, what functions we are performing, that is per se performing leadership. So it's very foundational for us to know further how to be effective leaders in our organization. So let's first define what is foundational leadership. Na-mention na po ito ni Doc kanina, but let me further explain it refers to the underlying concepts and factors that lead to effective leadership in the organization. Meaning the principles, the values, and competences that guide how leaders think. So ito yung magiging foundation po. The way we think and decide and act. Without strong foundation, leadership becomes positional lang, fragile rather than purposeful and impactful. Okay, so let me proceed again. Accordingly, there are two key factors to succeed and strengthen foundational leadership. Na-mention po itong dalawa, ethical leadership and effective leadership. So let's try to understand what is this ethical leadership. It is said in the book that this is the central to foundational leadership because it ensures that leadership actions are guided by integrity, fairness, and accountability. It does not, let me further explain that it does not solely rely on authority. Instead, they lead by example. So it's a very nice emphasis here. And uphold moral standards and consider the impact of their decisions on people and in the organization. This creates trust, credibility, and a culture of responsibility, essential conditions for sustainable leadership. Let's say, what is effective leadership then? It focuses on results and influence. Their impact is seen in improved performance, motivated teams, and organizational growth. So when we say effective leadership, it focuses on results and influence, not defined by position or title, but by leaders' ability to positively influence others. So it translates, although it translates into values, into action, align people with clear direction, and adopt their leadership approach based on a clear direction and approach based on situations and needs. So their impact is seen in improved performance, motivated teams, and organizational growth. So if we will see the two aspects here. The ethical leadership provide the moral compass, while effective leadership delivers the impact. So these are the in appreciation of the two concepts. When these two come together, no, dito sa organization, sa office natin, they form the foundation of strong leadership. Leaders who are not only achieving success, but also earn the trust and respect of the people they serve. And um, when people trust their leaders, ang even communities natin, yung environment natin can thrive. Itong yung character ng isang organization having such these qualities in the long run. And so that is in appreciation of the two concepts. Let's move. Let's just try to ask this. Hopefully this can parang makaisip tayo. Why do bad leaders exist? Anyone can think about that. Have you ever asked yourself this question before? Or are you only realizing this question now that we are witnessing? We are experiencing so much turmoil in the government right now. But at any rate, the book that is being written, kita ko yung mga reasons doon. Ano daw ang reasons? Okay, let me just discuss with you. Baka meron kayong answers, but the book says probably could be the structural and developmental gaps. This refers to explain further yung mga weaknesses or missing elements in the system. Can be part of the reason, yung processes, yung support mechanism sa organization that fail to use and identify gaps and prepare and guide leaders in the certain organizations. And next, leadership is often mistaken for authority. That some people think having a title, kung ano ka man, director ka ba, may ranggo ka ba na SG-SG dyan, or position automatically makes someone a leader. That's how we are thinking. In reality, authority only gives the power to tell others what to do, but it does not guarantee that people will listen, trust, or follow willingly. True leadership comes from influence. Talagang repeated ito doon sa book. Integrity and the ability to guide others toward shared goal, not just from holding a position. So next, probably, anong reason bakit meron tayong bad, mga leaders? When people are promoted based solely on rank and tenure or technical skills, totoo ba ito? Example for this, I don't know if this is correct. Someone becomes a supervisor simply because they are the next in rank, di ba? Or in line, or length of service. Or good ka nga, pero being good actually is not an indicator na automatically okay ka na or leading people. Good ka na, okay? Team may experience low morale, conflict, or poor performance. So these are the indicators, feeling mo good. Pero yung kasamahan mo, merong ganitong mga indicators. So hindi tayo happy dito. Okay? Next, absence of ethical grounding often leads to bad leadership practices. Meaning, wherein most leaders prioritize results over values. So meron tayong ganito, di ba? Observable ito. Results, dapat ma-meet natin ang target. Meet natin yung mga performance target natin sa OPC. So, merong ganyan. Bahala na kayo dyan. Magkadangkara pa kayo sa pag-meet nito. But at any rate, meron ding situation na may tolerate favoritism. Meron unfair workloads or inconsistency in the decision making. So, yun po. Okay, next, they are unprepared, probably unaware, or unsupported by the management that lead them to become sour in the work or angry in the management. So this can lead to having bad leaders in the office or in the organization. So Without mentoring, leadership training, feedbacking mechanism, individuals are left to figure it out on their own, resulting in effective, damaging leadership behaviors in the office or in the organization. So all of these are the reasons why we are having bad leaders. Probably you have your own definitions about bakit meron tayong mga bad leaders. But at any rate, naklaro dito sa book po, sa explained by our professor, na these are the things that are seeing kasi meron tayong mga ganitong lapses doon sa ating organization. And so now this is saying that the foundations of leadership is very critical. Yung understanding at saka yung ma-identify, ma-embedded ito lahat. Hindi naman lahat, not perfect, but at least meron tayong idea, may awareness tayo. Or else, we are left figuring it out on our own, no, sa office, resulting to ineffective or damaging leadership behaviors in the office. So, ito ang pinaka-importante na ma-clear sa atin. Ano itong mga foundational nga mga effective leadership? Okay. So let's move. So now I'm going uh, to the introduction to executive leadership, which talks about roles and responsibilities and challenges. But before I go and deep dive to the discussion on this, let's just have some probably discussion on the concept. What is an executive leadership? Sabi ko dito, executive, inaisa-isa ko dito, is a person with formal authority to make decisions and manage organizational resources. Probably we have figures in our minds who are this executive in your office, director ba, mga chief, mga divisions, mga heads, mga coordinators, could be a CEO in the business offices. So these are the things that will come into our mind when we talk about executive. So, sino naman itong leader? Is someone who influences and inspires people toward a shared goal. Authority comes from a position, but leadership comes from the effectiveness and impact. So, very clearly defined here po. Next. So, to put this together, executive leadership exists when a person uses their position not just to command, but to guide, influence, inspire, and develop people. So, ito yung binuo ko na mga definition po. Okay, now let's talk about ano yung mga roles and responsibilities of the executive leaders as discussed in the book. Let me first present to you. So these are the following: is to lead the organization towards sustainable goal. Hindi ko maklaro dito. Goals and innovation. Very true in the public office, right? Ito yung mga kailangan natin. Ito yung motivation. Ito yung mandatos natin doon sa, especially in the public office. And in the business, profitability naman in a complicated and ever-changing business environment. So next is establish the vision and strategic course for the organizations. Trabaho ito ng ating mga leaders. So leaders set the long-term direction and define what success looks like for all the staff, ano yung levels, ano yung line of operations, dapat klaro ito sa lahat. And has to explain the what, the how, the who, and when to accomplish this road map or plan of the organization. Dapat ma-disseminate, ma-provide ito in a manner na klaro no, sa lahat kung saan patungo yung organization. And next is cultivate culture of designers, molding the principles, standards, and actions that establish the organizational spirit. Masyadong mabigat talaga ang trabaho ng isang executive leader. But here, we're saying na trabaho ng isang leader na mag-encourage ng mga staff to create, to innovate, no? Lahat ng mga gustong mangyari na that would ease out the delivery of service para magiging accessible ang mga transactions in a day-to-day practice in the organization. So part yan ng isang trabaho ng isang executive leader. Is also accountable here for the performance and saying here the results of the organization. Masyadong mabigat talaga itong word na accountable kasi they are responsible no sa lahat ng mga outcomes. Kung meron tayong situation sa isang office sa NGA no sa national government, meron tayong OPC, masyadong accountable tayo sa performance dito. And sometimes ang mga leaders natin they tend to saying pag hindi ma-meet kasalanan mo yan, mag-justify kayo. So kung leader ka na responsible, ano yung outcomes, whether good or bad, they cannot blame others as easy as that. But, they take all the accountability. Sabi na, embracing everything that are being laid down, ano yung resulta sa performance, hindi turo ng turo lamang. So there is that sense of accountability. Anong nangyari? What happened then? Ano yung strengths? Ano yung kailangan natin gawin? So dapat ganito yung responsible kind of leaders natin. Ito yung magiging character ng isang leader. Next is provide opportunities and benefits of workers in order for competitive edge and resilience for the organization. Very true, kailangan ito na meron tayong mga klaseng recognition or that will provide competitiveness, yung mga talents ng ating mga worker ma-improve. There must be this kind of arrangement. And offer professional development programs, mga trainings, mga scholarships. All this kailangan natin ma-establish. Part yan ng isang executive leader. Hindi lang sa kanila. Dapat din shared ito down the line para itong opportunities are not only doon sa mga high positions, okay? So ito yung resilience kailangan din matugunan by way of being understanding also to the needs of our staff. Okay, and next is exhibit integrity, transparency, and ethical leadership during times of crisis. So no, masyadong challenging ito. Or controversy and the maintenance of the organization's reputation. I just would take an example during COVID time, if you can remember that during that very critical moments we are experiencing, nakikita din natin yung transparency ng ating government. The Department of Health, if we can still remember, they are so transparent, no, to the public by providing regular updates, mga feedback, mga press briefing, yung lahat-lahat, mga reporting, ensure. Kasi ensure ang public ma-inform. So, in appreciation of that, nakikita ko yung exhibit integrity, transparency during times of crisis. Hindi walang sabi, no? Wala namang public comfort, walang information na ibigay. So at any rate, so ito, yung mga na-mention ko na mga responsibilities. So let us now talk about ano yung theories and models in leadership. Okay, so let's try to talk about ano yung trait theory as number one. Accordingly, itong theory emphasizes that leadership is influenced by personal qualities and inner characteristics such as integrity, confidence, emotional stability, empathy, and resilience. These traits shape how a leader thinks, decides, and relate with others. Accordingly, parang as far as I understood about this, ito yung mga naka-innate na sa isang person, no? Parang inborn nga mga qualities. May mga dispensation of, good because embedded na yan sa kanya. So these traits are shaping, no? for that person to become a very good leader. Okay? However, the trait theory also is highlighting that kailangan din ng isang leader having those no trait qualities at saka inner characteristics a good person, a leader, kailangan din niya need for self-awareness, okay, na-emphasize doon sa book. Especially when you want to become better, no, sa pag-perform mo as a leader, yung trabaho mo. Kailangan mo ng self-awareness. Why is this? Because para ma-improve mo yung sarili and then to become leaders must first understand the basic why kailangan ng self-awareness is ma-aware siya, ma-understand niya kung sino ako, who am I, who they are, ay, ano yung strengths, ano yung mga values, management skills, mga emotional triggers, at saka yung uh, biases, mga emotional mga levels, no? At saka habits that affects choices, mga actions, and disposition in handling people and in fact in situations. Leaders who understand themselves are better at understanding and emphasizing with others. So knowing what you are good at allows you to leverage your strengths. And then recognizing weaknesses helps you seek support, delegate tasks, or improve yourself. So, um, many traits can still be developed even if you have this kind of traits, no? Kasi kailangan mo din ma-practice mo yun. Sayang, no? If hindi mo ma-demonstrate in a way na proper ang pag-deliver mo. May traits ka man, may inner characteristics. Pag hindi mo yan ma-assess properly at saka mabigyan ng pansin, then hindi yan ma-develop din, no? Yung leadership skills mo. So, accordingly, many traits can still be developed over time and experience by learning. In simple terms, leadership traits grow through practice and reflection. Although people are not born fully, meron tayong ganyan na wala silang inborn nga mga traits. But they become leaders too, okay, according to the theory, by continuously learning, adapting, and improving themselves. So leadership starts with personal qualities, but those qualities are refined through experience, learning, and conscious self-development. Through learning, such training, mentoring, feedback, reflection, individuals become more self-aware and intentional in improving themselves. Let's go. What is behavioral theory? Behavioral theory looks at leadership actions and behaviors, not personality. Iba yung traits, yung personality, traits, at saka inner characteristics. Ang behavioral, it focuses on how leaders perform. So it's more on action. Leaders are made by what they do. So this is the definition of behavioral theory. So different from the trait theory. So ano yung mga focus dito when we say behavioral theory? Accordingly, sa communicate, dapat ang mga leaders are able to communicate things properly. Makikita doon sa communication ng isang leader. Instead, just to give you an example kung ano yung magiging effective ka sa pag-communicate, for example, instead of issuing instruction, the leader asks, is this clear? So, dapat merong feedbacking and encourages questions. Ano yung query ninyo? Ano ang difficulty ninyo? Having this memo, having this guideline, mga instructions, all this, there must be this feedbacking from the staff if they have understood everything. So this is in a way creating two-way communication when we are saying effective na leader ako. Sa next, make decisions, okay? If in case, no, for example, may mga delayed report or a client is complaining about something, the leader gathers relevant information and consults key staff if needed. Uh, Not immediately judge the staff. So, yung decision making niya is very, in a way, careful enough na hindi siya judgmental and hurting the staff. So, may ganyan na mga klaseng na activities, and before may mga validity and confirmation, and then trying also to talk with the staff. So these are the things the leader is able to come up with an appropriate decision, not jumping into a judgment. Next is support and motivate people. So this is a way of providing credit to the person doing a good job, and maybe focusing not on the mistakes, but the leaders say, I see your effort. Let's work together to improve this. So these are the things that a good leader is always doing to the staff, just to boost morale, no, and confidence. And balance task and relationship while ensuring reports are submitted on time, no, as in actual nangyayari sa office, the leader also checks on staff's wellness, workload, and stress level. Kamusta na kayo? Okay pa ba yung mga disposition natin? How are you doing? Yung ganyan, kasi masyadong mabigat yung trabaho, especially sa mga public offices. Masyadong ang daming mga workloads at saka multitasking talaga. So, ang isang good na leader, yung actions niya, yung behavior, should also be balancing support to what is happening to her or his staff. Next. Situational leadership is as formulated by Hersey, and if that's how you say it, and Blanchard. Accordingly, it emphasizes that there is no single best leadership style. It adapts depending on the situation. It means that no one way of leading works in every situation to the needs of the moment, the task, and the people you are leading. So there is this kind of balancing and trying to adjust kung ano yung na appropriate at that certain moment. So meron dapat adjustment, no, kung anong style ang kailangan at that very onset. A situational leader must adjust their approach instead of always leading the same way, no? Ito si Sir, authoritarian hanggang sa dulo. Yung ganyan, but a good leader must make some adjustment depending, no, especially yung frontline na trabaho, ang supervision should be very flexible and understanding. Okay. So what are accordingly, may mga distinct styles daw tayo dito in terms of having situational leadership style and approach. Sabi na yung sa directing, wherein the leader provides instructions, give close supervision, and specific guidance, especially to staff with in need, no? Yung bagong staff na kailangan talaga ng supervision. But depende if yung staff mo ay already has been there already and knows better. So meron tayong adjustment na probably medyo hindi close ang supervision. So ito yung sabi na directing. And coaching and support, here the leader combines direction with active while providing, no, close supervision, my active support by listening, motivating, and helping staff develop their abilities. So ito yung mga klase na support. And delegating. The leader entrusts responsibility and decision-making authority to the staff, especially to the staff who are, familiar, very good in performing. So meron tayong pagbigay ng isang task na siya na ang mag-take over nito, although while maintaining accountability for the results. So as a leader, kailangan mo marunong ka magtingin sa mga staff, sino yung kailangan ng close supervision, sino yung bigyan mo ng heavy na responsibility, but at any rate, you are still accountable for all the results in the performance. Okay, so I hope I'm clear. I'm almost done. But at any rate, doon sa book says that self-assessment kailangan natin dito. Meaning kasi ah, kailangan mo din ng isang pagtingin sa sarili mo, a time to pause for yourself to evaluate your performance as a leader. Ano yung strength mo? Ano yung weaknesses mo in the dispense of your job and responsibilities? So these are the key reasons why kailangan tayo mag-self-assessment as a leader, no? Kailangan pala tayo mag-self-assess. Kasi kailangan tayo mag-comprehend the individual leadership style. Meaning, yung style mo, kailangan i-check mo. Okay? Kasi we have different way of performing our leadership styles. And also assess leadership abilities. Yung abilities mo, need ba ito na further development? Kailangan mo ba ng training and guidance from the management? And develop a leadership plan. Set clear goals for yourself as a leader, and also trying to encourage your staff to be able to set goals also. Marunong din sila magplano sa goal ng organization, and that mga interventions ma-laid down mo as a leader and activities to be able to enhance leadership skills and effectiveness of yourself and also your staff and the whole office and the whole organization. Dapat responsive itong lahat. And monitor progress and adjust plans. Regular tracking, kailangan ito ma-refine at saka yung mga strategies based on results and experiences. And now, also understand impact on others. Kailangan din natin matingin kung ano yung impact mo sa office, and that kailangan mo mag-evaluate, no, using feedbacking, at saka you can use so many tools like the 360-degree survey and review. Merong naka-emphasize doon sa book ni Sir po. At saka I realized that maganda din ito gamitin sa office namin. And then, enhance ethical and emotional competence and increase adaptability and resilience. Okay, before I end, I am just about to end my question mark, Jan. For my final thought, I would like to leave you these questions. Okay, I hope we're ready to answer this. So, do our leaders, whether in public, today, truly have the executive leadership to inspire and create lasting impact, or are we still relying on authority without effectiveness? So that ends my presentation. Thank you and good afternoon.
Okay, thank you so much, Madam. No, the discussion today reinforces the executive leadership is fundamentally about stewardship, no, rather than control. Leaders at this level are entrusted, of course, with guiding people, no, resources and institutional purpose towards sustainable outcomes. One key takeaway is that leadership effectiveness is not measured solely by result, but by how results are achieved. Ethical conduct, no, fairness and transparency remain the negotiable foundation, because executive leaders must consistently align decisions with organizational values to maintain trust and legitimacy. And this alignment becomes even more critical during times of crisis or uncertainty. So leadership failures often stem from neglecting this foundational principles. Another important insight is the distinction between leadership and management. While management focuses on planning, organizing, and controlling processes, leadership focuses on direction. motivation, and influence. Effective executive must integrate both roles without confusing them. Overemphasis on control can stifle innovation and engagement. Lack of structure can lead to confusion and inefficiency. So the strongest leader balance discipline with empowerment. And this balance allows organizations to remain agile while maintaining accountability. So executive leadership therefore requires both strategic thinking and human sensitivity. Self-awareness emerges as a central theme in executive leadership. Leaders must understand their strengths, limitations, biases, and emotional triggers. So without self-awareness, authority can easily turn into arrogance or misuse of power. So executive leaders who reflect regularly are better equipped to learn from mistakes. They are also more open to constructive criticism and diverse perspective. This reflective capacity enhances judgment and decision quality. Leadership development, therefore, is an ongoing personal journey rather than uh, a one-time achievement. The role of values in executive leadership cannot be overstated. Values act as internal compass during complex and ambiguous situation. When rules are unclear or competing internal arises or interest arises, values guide ethical decision making. Organization led by values-driven executive tend to foster stronger cultures of trust and commitment. Employees feel safer and more motivated, maybe, when leadership behavior is predictable and principled. So values-based leadership also enhances organizational reputation and public trust. And these outcomes are especially critical in public service and educational institutions. Influence was highlighted as more powerful than authority. Executive who rely solely on position often encounter resistance or compliance without commitment. So influence, on the other hand, generates genuine engagement. It is built through credibility, consistency, and syempre, respectful communication. Leaders who listen actively and communicate clearly strengthen their influence across organizational levels. And this relational aspect of leadership is often underestimated but highly impactful. Strong influence enables leaders to mobilize support for difficult decisions. Another significant point is the systemic perspective required of executive leaders. Decision must evaluated not only for immediate effects but for long-term consequences. Leader must consider how policies, structures, and behaviors interact across the organization. A narrow focus can lead to unintended outcome. Systems thinking allows leader to anticipate risk and opportunities more effectively. And this perspective is particularly relevant in complex, multi-stakeholder environments. Now, executive leadership therefore demands broad vision and integrative thinking. So the discussion also emphasized leadership accountability. Sabi nga ni Madam, executives are accountable not only for outcomes but for the climate they create. Toxic cultures often reflect leadership failures rather than employee shortcomings. Leaders set the tone through behavior, priorities, and responses to challenges. Accountability requires owning mistakes and correcting course when necessary. This transparency strengthens credibility rather than weakening authority. So responsible leadership models ethical behavior for the entire organization. So therefore, the foundation of executive leadership provides the essential grounding for all advanced leadership practices. They remind us that leadership is a responsibility rooted in service, integrity, and long-term thinking. Without a strong foundation, even the most talented leaders risk failure. As we move forward in this course, these principles will serve as our reference point for evaluating leadership style, decisions, and behaviors. Executive leadership is not about perfection, but about principled and purposeful action. This foundation prepare leaders to navigate complexity with confidence and character. Okay? So thank you so much, presenter. And congratulations.